Today we're going to make a quick and easy roasted oatmeal banana bread. I believe roasting the oatmeal really enhances the overall flavor of the banana bread. I hope you enjoy it. To begin today, we're going to take a baking pan and line it with parchment paper, to which we're going to add 1.5 cups of oatmeal. Now, I would have preferred for this to be rolled oats, but I didn't have any rolled oats. I have instant oatmeal. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use instant oatmeal, and I'm going to cut it back to a cup because it's so much denser, being cut so fine. I think I'm going to use 1.25 cups just to try and get the same effect. We'll see how that comes out. The bread will be fine, but the idea of using rolled oats fell by the wayside when I didn't have any rolled oats. So I'm going to put those in a 350-degree oven to toast for about 10 minutes. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. I'm going to take this out and stir this up a little bit, put it back in the oven. While the oats are toasting, we're going to put 1 cup of regular all-purpose flour into a large bowl. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Remember, baking soda, not baking powder, 1 teaspoon. We are going to add baking powder, but we're going to only add about 1/4 teaspoon. To that, we are also going to add 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Now, that's what the recipe that I've been using calls for. I usually add a little more because I like the cinnamon. So I'm going to add about a full teaspoon of cinnamon. I think the cinnamon provides a really good flavor. And we're going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. Now, we're going to whisk those together, get them well mixed, and once the oats have finished being toasted and have cooled a little bit, we're going to add them to this mixture before we do the wet mixture. Now we're going to take our toasted oats and mix them into our dry mixture. And then we're going to put the dry mixture aside and begin to work on the wet mixture. Okay, we're going to put 4 medium bananas, which I have let reach the point where they're starting to turn brown. You could let them go further than this. In fact, you may want to stick them in the oven at 250 degrees for half an hour or so and get them darker, but this is sufficient for me. Now, before you throw those banana skins away, you may want to save them, trim the ends off, cut them into pieces, and put them into your oven at 165, 75, whatever, as low as your oven can go, and let them dry out for a while. I think you'll find that if you can dry them, you can use them as a great fertilizer for various plants. There's a lot of information out on the internet. I'll see if I can find a link and put it in the notes for this video. Okay, now we're going to mash these bananas. I could use a potato masher, but I figured I would just go ahead and use this. Just as easy. You want it to be mashed pretty thoroughly, but you don't have to have it perfect But you do want to have the big pieces out of the way. Okay, to this, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of milk. Now, this happens to be whole milk, but I doubt it would make much difference if you used 2%, maybe even skim. It'll change the consistency perhaps a little bit, but not dramatically. And we're going to add 2/3 of a cup of maple syrup or honey. I'm using maple syrup. Now, if you take your measuring cup and spray it with a little olive oil or regular oil, and then you do this, the syrup will come out a lot easier. That's 1/3. Two-thirds. The honey is even stickier, so it will even take more effort to get it out. But if you notice, it looks like it's kind of coming out of its own free will, but I do want to get every drop. Then we want to add our butter, and the butter is 4 tablespoons that I have pretty much melted all the way. I'm sure I could do a little better, but that's as far as I got. Put it in for 30 seconds in my microwave, and that's fairly well melted. Then we want to add Greek yogurt, 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. Didn't get all of it out. Okay. And we want to add 2 large eggs. Supposedly, if you wait and let these eggs be room temperature, it'll help the overall rise of the cake. I've never noticed that much difference, but if you're concerned about it, set them out for half an hour or so before you decide to cook. Or if you're like me and don't plan ahead most of the time, you can put them in a bowl of warm water, let them sit for 15 or 20 minutes, and that'll accomplish the same thing. Okay, so now we're going to mix this up. You want to get all the ingredients well incorporated. Make sure the butter is mixed in real well. It looks pretty good. Our last ingredient is a teaspoon of vanilla. Now we're going to add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients, about 1/2 cup at a time. I hope you can tell that this is thickening up pretty quickly. One thing about the oatmeal and the flour, they will suck up a lot of the moisture pretty quickly. I would say that's fairly well mixed. Okay, you do not want to just beat it until the flour mixture is well incorporated and you don't see any dry flour anymore. Next step is to put it in the prepared pan. Now this is intended to make 1 loaf of banana bread. This is a 9x5 pan, probably an 8.5 by 4.5 pan, so it's slightly smaller. And to which I sprayed it with olive oil, and then I used a 1/2 sheet of the large parchment paper cut in half and put it inside to make it easier to get the bread out of the pan. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pour this into the pan, and then we're ready to put it in the oven to bake. So the next step is to put it in a 350-degree oven. Let's start with 30 minutes, and then we'll take a look and see what we need to do. Okay, it's been a half an hour, so we're going to take a look. My guess is we're going to have to put some foil over the top or around the edges because it's starting to brown too quickly. Let's take a look. If you notice, around the edges, we're starting to brown pretty quickly. So I think what I'm going to start with, I'm going to put a little foil around the edges. Be careful, it's really hot. So I'm just going to do like that. Like that, and we'll see if we can get it to stay on. Okay, I'm going to put it back in the oven. I'll put the foil on it when I get it in the oven, obviously. We'll start with that and see how that does. Give it a few more minutes and take a look. Okay, let's see how this is doing. Okay, it has cut down on the browning on the edges, so that's what it was supposed to do, so we're in good shape. So we're going to do another 15 minutes. Okay, let's check the internal temperature. Nope, not yet. Only 170 degrees, needs to be 200 to 210 to be done. And I can see that the edges, I'm glad we put the foil on it because the edges are definitely browning faster. We're going to give it another 10 minutes. The internal temperature is about 200 degrees, which is about what it needs to be for it to be done. And if you stick a knife or a toothpick in, it comes out clean. So that should be ready. Let it cool before we remove it from the baking dish. Okay, the next step is to pull the bread out of the loaf pan. Very good. Remember, glass stays hot for a long time and will burn you and leave nasty scars. So be careful with it. So now we have one loaf of banana oatmeal bread. Okay, let's try the banana bread. Let's cut a slice. Okay, let's take a look. Nice. Looks full. Let's taste it. Yeah, that's good banana bread. I hope you'll try this, and I hope you'll enjoy it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and if you can, please like the video also. I really appreciate it. Thank you.